Welcome to my podcast. My name is Jen, and this is an introduction episode into what the channel is going to be about, who I am, and why I wanted to start it. So I've been thinking about starting it for quite some time now. I have post-it notes and phone notes and doodles everywhere about topics I want to cover, ideas, statistics, valuable information. And the more I started to talk to other people about it, the more I started to realize that this information is so vital to get out, and this is one of the best platforms I thought I could do that. So I wanted to come up with a clever name and a logo and a fun backdrop and find the time to do that, but I'm never going to find the time, and that stuff just isn't that important right now. What is important is sharing this information. So I'm just going to jump in and start sharing. So what is this podcast about? Quite simply, it is about safety, self-defense, and healthy relationships. Now, you might be wondering, do all three of those things really go together? Safety and self-defense, yes, they sound synonymous. I've heard those together a lot, but healthy relationships sound separate. However, the answer is a little bit surprising in that healthy relationships are actually going to be key to your safety and your well-being. And when we think about safety and self-defense, something to keep in mind is that 8 out of 10 women knew the person who attacked them. Now, that means that 8 out of 10 women had a relationship with that person who harmed them. Now, that could be a significant other, husband, a boyfriend, girlfriend. It could be a relative. It could be a coworker. It could be a friend of a friend. But what they all had in common was they knew that person. Maybe first name, maybe first and last name, but they could identify them. So that means that identifying and controlling all of those relationships are going to be key to your safety and well-being. And by controlling, I don't mean manipulating. I just mean having the opportunity to decide who has access to you, be it online or physically in person and everything in between. So who am I? Like I said, my name is Jen, and I have a kind of unique background. I was actually a graphic designer and artist for about 10 years, and I still do that for fun. It relaxes me, and I find a lot of peace in that. Then I basically did a 180 and transitioned into adult probation. I was naive and doe-eyed, uncomfortable talking to people. I didn't even like calling up to make dentist appointment on the phone. And I suddenly find myself having to have these very difficult and serious conversations with people who are in some of the roughest times of their lives and who are probably not wanting or willing to have those conversations with me. Working in this career has taught me so much about myself, about others, understanding, and just so many different aspects that I wouldn't have never had the opportunity to otherwise, and information that I think is important to share to those who don't work in this capacity. What I've learned is far more than I can put into an introduction episode. We are the totality of our experiences. We all know that our actions and behaviors have consequences, but something that we don't consider is how our overall environment and our friends and our family, our values and our beliefs, how all of those things play a significant role in our lives, and how changing just one of those things can really impact the way our lives continue. So in this podcast, I want to help people identify for themselves and others areas that might need improvement, that might need help, and to get the skills and information out there so that everyone has the opportunity to make changes and be as happy and healthy as possible. Beyond my own experiences and observations and trainings, I did research. I talked to victims, victim advocates, trauma counselors, those who teach safety and self-defense, and work in all different kinds of capacities, and just friends in general, loved ones, having random conversations and getting good information. And the number one thing that kept coming up was that we just don't know what healthy relationships look like as a whole, as a society. These are not being modeled for us, either by our family, by our friends, on TV, or on movies. And this is a general statement. Of course, there are some really great examples, and we'll get into that in later episodes. But as a whole, that information is lacking, especially to our younger generations. And I want to change that. I want younger generations to understand what is healthy and what isn't. And one of the other main topics, the self-defense, is something that I couldn't ignore in my career as well. As a woman, I understood that I had a disadvantage in risky and dangerous situations, and I did everything I could to mitigate my own risks to make sure I came home every night. So my physical and mental health are very important to me, and I do want to do a couple of topics about how I make sure that I stay healthy, I stay safe, and also bring in some experts on self-defense who can talk about ways that should you find yourself in that situation, things you can do, mindset skills to have for everyone. So that is just one of the areas of future episodes. Other episodes will look like, are you going away to college? Maybe you've heard that you or a loved one is far more likely to be assaulted in one way or another while they're away at college. Is that true? Why is it true? What can you do about it? What about online dating and social media? What are healthy relationships? What are bad relationships? What are abusive relationships? What's the difference? Which one do you fall in? And it might not be a clear-cut line. If you find yourself in a healthy relationship, that's fantastic. How do you make sure that you stay in a healthy relationship? And how can you give that information to others so that they can get to where you are? That can be a really good conversation, and it can also be a really difficult conversation if that person isn't ready or willing to hear it. So we'll go over how to have those different kinds of conversations. And of course, we'll cover that safety aspect, physically and emotionally. It's all going to come full circle, all different kinds of topics, and I hope at least some of them appeal to you. And on that note, what I want to know is, what did bring you here? Why did you click on a link that said safety, self-defense, and healthy relationships? Was it just my mom sharing the link? Hi, Mom, thanks. Or was there something specific you were hoping to learn? Throw it down in the comments so that I can make sure I cover it as quickly as possible. Ask questions. Please share this so I can get it out to as many people as possible. And keep an eye out for future episodes, which I will be uploading as soon as I can. And thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it.